Welcome back, friends, with more... Wait. Good news, everyone! We're here with more Futurama. This is Season 4, Episode 5. Last time we saw Fry, Leela, and Bender become this crime-fighting trio. They had costumes, superhero names, and actual superpowers from a tube. It was very ridiculous, but we also saw Leela have to balance her new work with finally getting to spend some time with her parents. I hope they get to interact with each other more. They've been such an important storyline for so long, and I just want to see Leela get to be with her family. Probably won't happen again in this episode because they can't mess with the formula too much and have her parents be like regular characters on the show. Just at some point in the series, let me know that they spend time together and that Leela is happy because of it. Okay, full reaction is going to be on Patreon in the link in the description below. Early reactions are there as well. Leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss another episode, and let's get started!
Freedom, 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 oi!
There's no denying it. The
What?
future's crazy. Oh well, don't want to stand out.
Freedom, 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 oi! Freedom, 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 oi!
So, what is Freedom Day? Sounds like some kind of feminine hygiene product.
No, it's a fabulous, crabulous day.
Probably. Oh.
Wow, nude hot tubbing? That's all I need to hear about Freedom Day.
Sure.
Baby.
You can be a comedian instead of a doctor.
Zoidberg?
If you want your parents to roll over in their graves.
Wait, don't they die when they reproduce?
Sure, you can vote for
Why does he have parents?
If
You can go to medical school. If you've given up on your dream of being a comedian.
Wow. Did you see the calendar in the background? It had
That's
like
why I love her.
washboard
You
abs.
can do what you want, and no one makes you feel guilty because no one cares.
We're not listening!
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice example.
Representing our men, women, and children in uniform.
Oh my god.
It's Earth's greatest space hero, Zap Brannigan.
Freedom Day, ladies. Thank you, Linda.
Oh.
Welcome. Okay, Morbo. Now it's your turn.
Oh. Ooh, I'm morbidly curious. Frickin' Nixon.
Thank you, Secretary of Transportation. My fellow Earthicans.
'Cause he transports
we
the-
enjoy so much freedom, it's almost sickening. Our planet has been through so much this past year. We've never lost our sense of what's truly important. The great taste of Charleston Chew.
This feels too real.
Let us...
Of course the Earth's
Swell
flag
with
is...
patriotic mucus.
That our flag is still there. It's gone!
It's gone? Zoidberg!
Bless this planet and all its wonderful people.
They might not
Kill
like
him!
this.
Kill the traitor!
Hey, it's the guy who desecrated our flag.
Even the guy who says Earth sucks guy is mad about it.
My planet's empty.
Oh.
They're paid to not kill me. I thought I was fitting in. But I guess I don't belong here any more than I do on our crappy home planet. Ooh, sorry.
What sorry? Our planet stinks. We all know it.
Aww.
Ambassador Marvin, you and your staff are so kind. I am truly humbled. What? No marshmallows?
But the right to freedom of expression is guaranteed by the Earth Constitution.
But I know a place where the Constitution doesn't mean squat.
Oh my god, this is too real!
Now your noose knot has exactly 7 twists.
Oh.
When are we ever gonna find a lawyer to take his case?
I'll ask the head of the
The bird?
ACLU once he's done singing.
Don't mess with Earth. Kill Zoidberg. Good night.
I don't think he's your best bet.
I'm a veteran of 3 dozen wars. Name a body part in a
3
planet.
dozen
I'm
wars?
taking a bullet in it, on it.
Wait, you're a lawyer? You're hired.
Were you not listening when he first said it?
All rise for the Honorable Chief Justice Myrtle Fu and the Associate Justices.
Oh my god.
Freedom of speech applies to what comes out of a mouth, not what goes in.
Can counsel cite precedent?
Yes, darling, I can. In the state of Alabama
They don't care about
versus
precedent.
Space
Court's kind of fun when it's not my ass on the line. Nachos? You see this hand of mine?
Not relevant.
No, you don't. Because I lost my real hand planting the flag when we took back Haley's Comet. I love it even more than I love my 7 wives. That's right, I'm a polygamist.
Everybody boos.
The justices and I will now confer using high-speed telepathy.
Interesting.
By a vote of 6-3, we find that flag eating is not protected by the Constitution.
Apologize? Never! Because no punishment could be bigger than denying me my freedom!
You are hereby sentenced to death.
Wait, let me finish.
Also, in a rare double whammy decision, the court finds polygamy constitutional.
I can't wait to tell my husband.
Oh, it got worse for him.
Remember,
everybody's
take him alive.
booing him.
Invading these mud premises is an act of war!
Yeah? Well, what are you gonna do about it, Shrimpy?
You wanna see, Mr. Big Shot?
Oh?
Aha! Now the rubber band's on the other claw.
Of course that's a saying.
Let's show these freaks what a bloated runaway military budget can do.
Oh, God.
Bring me the activation codes for our global defense network. Rumor has it a double agent may be aboard this very ship. I'm watching you. You, Ensign, what's your name?
Hugh Man, sir.
Sir, there's
Ooh.
You're damn right there is. That strapping young lad's gunning for your job. And he just might get it.
All planetary defenses have been disabled. Perhaps the Decapodians acquired our secret codes. Somehow.
Okay,
somehow.
Stand by to take the blame.
Should have let him celebrate his freedom.
Goldberg, how can you claim to love freedom and then enslave all of Earth?
Just focus on globbing that mud.
Oh.
All our modern technology is useless. I'm having one of those things. You know.
An idea?
With pictures.
An idea?
We need something that can take out an entire army. Something you could commit a war crime with. Wow.
The Mobile Oppression Palace!
Mobile Oppression Palace?
I don't need to tell you that occupation forces are expensive.
You can crush me, but you can't crush my spirit.
Crush.
Ah, my spirit!
He defended my freedom when no one else would. He was a good and honorable man.
I request a satanic funeral.
A satanic funeral.
Is it possible that all this slavery and oppression is schmutzing up our freedom lesson?
Take a pill, Zoidberg.
You didn't expect us to even go to a museum, much less steal this ancient heat-seeking missile.
I don't even know you.
And...
Meh.
Meh.
Missiles are useless against the Mobile Oppression Palace. All Decapodian technology is cold-blooded.
Hey, I need that to smoke.
Oh.
Yes, I'm desecrating a flag, but to preserve the freedom it represents.
Ah. Ugh.
Dr. Zoidberg, how's about you take a bite of the flag for tomorrow's papers?
No, go ahead. You've earned it. Well, maybe just a...
Oh my God.
Wonder what the Shroud of Turin tastes like.
What a ridiculous episode. It's so accurate. Like, some of the attitudes portrayed in this episode are the way people feel now. This show is kind of brilliant. There are certain types of Futurama episodes that are up there as my favorites. There are a few that are just absolutely fantastic because of emotional poignancy. The Brainworms one, Luck of the Friarish, and Leela finally finding out who her parents are. And there are a few episodes that are just downright hilarious, like the Snoo Snoo episode and the Poplar episode. And then there's this kind of episode that is just particularly spot on with how well it parodies real life. I think all episodes do that on some level, but sometimes they really, really dig into it. And the whole completely exaggerated idea of freedom is so on point. It's exactly the way it is in America right now. Amy explained that on this day, Freedom Day, if you want to do something, you do it, and to spleck with the consequences, and just throws a slice of watermelon off the side of the building. That's exactly the attitude so many anti-vaxxers had. It's my freedom to do whatever the heck I want. Who cares if I'm risking everybody else's lives by not getting vaccinated or wearing a mask? And people are generally more concerned with the idea that I am entitled to do this instead of what are the consequences of my actions or what is the right or compassionate thing to do. And yeah, this show just got it spot on. Zoidberg was so enthusiastic about freedom, more so than anyone else because he came from a place that limited freedom. Did that freedom, 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 oi! Dance, that was funny. Large swaths of the United States has this obsession with proclaiming us as the country with the most freedom in the world, despite the fact that we have more people in prison than any other country in the world, despite the fact that 2/3 of bankruptcies in the US are because of medical bills due to our corrupt system, something that doesn't happen in other countries. And despite so many people getting mowed down due to gun violence, and despite restricting the right to an abortion, I mean, I guess it's a pretty free country if you have the money to enjoy it, but the idea that the American dream is alive and you can be anybody you want no matter the circumstances of your birth are less true now than for a very, very long time. But like, hey, we get to shit talk our political leaders, which is nice. It's not like you can do that in other countries, though. I need a sarcasm sign of some sort. But yeah, Nixon was there giving his Freedom Day speech. Of course, they made the Earth flag the American flag, but with just the Earth instead of the stars. It just makes too much sense. Nixon was there giving his Freedom Day speech, and of course, they made the Earth flag the American flag with the Earth instead of the stars. It just makes too much sense. And when Nixon says, "In our darkest hour, we stand erect with proud upthrust bosoms," Fry says something along the lines of, like, anyone who laughs is a communist. I think I've mentioned this in a previous episode, but I'm pretty sure that like 80% of Americans don't know what communism is, and they just blame everything on communism or socialism, but it's super funny in this episode. Of course, there was the capitalism takeover of Freedom Day with the branded fireworks. That's very on brand as well. Everybody was just so gung-ho about freedom. But the moment Zoidberg's expression of freedom hurts their feelings, suddenly everybody wants to murder him. And even though the Constitution guarantees freedom of expression, Nixon sends this case to the Supreme Court because he knows that's a place where the Constitution doesn't mean squat, which is just hilarious. That's so true. It's more clear than ever that the court is highly biased toward their own political leanings, despite the fact that they're supposed to be above politics. Precedent and the Constitution doesn't mean anything to them, really. And the justices in this show are kind of funny, though, so ridiculous with this lifetime appointment bullshit, but in this universe, they serve even longer. They're just heads in jars. And so we had, returning from the past, Sandra Day O'Connor, David Souter, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, John Paul Stevens, Antonin Scalia. The only one who is still a Supreme Court justice now is Clarence Thomas, who is just having scandal after scandal at this point and makes the whole lifetime appointment thing super frustrating. But then we also had Abe Vigoda, had to look up who that was, and frickin' Snoop Dogg. Who nominated Snoop Dogg? It's ridiculous. Didn't know the Chief Justice, though. I assume that's somebody from the future since they still had their entire body. And people were protesting at Zoidberg's home planet's embassy. These people are such weebs for the flag. It's so ridiculous. And we saw that play out a couple years ago when Colin Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem to protest police brutality. What was that, 2016? It feels like a lifetime ago, but yeah, people were so butthurt. The NFL blackballed him because no team was willing to associate themselves with that. And the sad thing is, he asked a veteran what the best way to protest would be, and the veteran told him to kneel, but a bunch of people were still like, "You're disrespecting the troops, oh my god." Poor little babies with their hurt fifis, aww. It actually reminded me of elementary school and citing the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. I didn't think anything of it at the time because I was a literal child, but in retrospect, I feel kind of disgusted. The Decapodians, though, invade Earth and enslaves people, which, Zoidberg, what are you doing? And he eventually frees everybody when the Decapodians kill the lawyer that led his defense, and then he's celebrated for saving humanity. It's also stupid. Hilarious, though. Alright, full reaction is going to be on Patreon in the link in the description below. Leave a like, really helps with the channel, and I will see you guys next week with more. Bye, friends.